Godhead, Vasudeva. Narayanam namaskrityam naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayam udiraye. Before reciting Srimad Bhagvatam, which is the very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisance unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Narayana, unto Narayan Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and unto Srila Vyasadeva, the author of Srimad Bhagvatam. Nashtaprayeshu abhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati nashtaki. By regular attendance in the classes on Srimad Bhagavatam and by rendering service unto the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed, and loving service unto the personality of Godhead, who is praised with transcendental songs, is established as an irrevocable fact. Guruve Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadbhaktaya Namo Namaha. Namo Pankajanaabhaya, Namo Pankajamaline, Namo Pankajnetraya, Namaste Pankajangriye. Hare Krishna, dear Vaishnavas, thank you again for joining in this wonderful reading of Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 8, Chapter 2. We are beginning Chapter 2, and today is very, very auspicious day. It's Dwadashi Tithi, it's the disappearance day of Srila Raghunath Das Goswami and Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, and also Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami, the author of Chaitanya Chaitamrita. So, very, very auspicious day. And what could be more auspicious than reading Srimad Bhagavatam in the association of devotees and to seek the blessings of these great souls by tapping or by connecting to Srimad Bhagavatam. So, we will read Canto 8, Chapter 2. We'll start that today. The wonderful story of Gajendra, the elephant Gajendra's crisis. So, just generally the Falshruti comes towards the end, but I'll share towards the beginning also, so that we can be more eager and enthusiastic to hear, although we may have heard multiple times. But as Prabhupada says, the more we read, Lord Chaitanya also showed by his example that he used to hear these pastimes of Gajendra, Dhruva, Prahlad, etc. multiple times, hundreds and hundreds of times. So, apane acharya Prabhu jivara sikhai. That Prabhu is teaching, Mahaprabhu is teaching by his own example that how we should also be so eager and not feel, hey, I know the story, hey, I know what's going to come, hey, I know the crocodile will catch Gajendra. If we read with that approach, then we'll get nothing. We'll just get the story. But if we will study what is Prabhupada trying to teach me today, what is the story trying to teach me today, then we will absorb much more. So two main things for those who sincerely read and hear the story. Number one, they get free from the cycle of birth and death. Death cannot harm. That's the whole point. Death, they overcome death. Now, overcoming death means what? Body will anyways die. Whether we are Gajendra or we are the kings of this world, the body will die. But that person will not take birth in the repeated cycle of birth and death. That's the real meaning of overcoming death. And overcoming debt also. Debt means karza. So if we have any debt, mortgage, loan, this, that, any kind of debt, we'll overcome that. Now that's material debt. But we all have debt. We have debt to so many things. Devarshi bhutatma nirdam pritrinam na kinkaro nayam rini charajan. The debt to demigods, debt to parents, debt to forefathers, debt to the Mother Earth, debt to the rivers, debt to the nurse, debt to so many people. By taking shelter of the Lord, like how Gajendra did, we can overcome all debt. Gato mukundam parihritya kartam. So, these two things are described. So with that, let's read text number 1. Shri Shuka Uvacha Asid Girivaro Rajam Strikuta iti Vishrutaha. Let's sing the screen, right? Shirodena Vrita Shriman Yojan Na Yutam Utshritah Translation by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Shukadev Goswami said, "My dear king, there is a very large mountain called Trikuta. It is 10,000 yojanas high, being surrounded by the ocean of milk. It is very beautifully situated." So that's how stories begin with. Once upon a time, there was a nice mountain. Its name was Trikuta. It was 10,000 yojanas high. That means it was 80,000. One yojana equal to 8 miles. So 80,000 miles. So basically, it's in the upper planetary systems going on. And we have read in the Canto 5 that how there are different varshas and different, um, what they call that, dvipas, Jambu Dweep, and the Priyavrat Maharaj, when he was moving around in circles with this, the wheels of the chariot led to the formation of 7 islands, sorry. And then we are in Jambu Dweepa. Jambu Dweepa, and that has 9 varshas. Varshas means divisions. And we are in the Bharat Varsha. There is Ilavarta Varsha, there is Kim Purusha Varsha, there is Hari Varsha, and so on. We read that in Canto 5. So basically, and we also read about these high mountain peaks which stretch up to millions of miles. And that's one of them is 10,000 yojanas high, that is 80,000 miles, surrounded by the ocean of milk, and very, very beautiful. So the story is beginning. Shukdev Goswami is speaking to Parikshit Maharaj. So please raise your hand if you would like to read, so you can read the next verse. And if you have not yet read for this week, it's time to read. Yes, Sudhir Prabhu, and then Nikant Prabhu can read after him.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandat Pranam, Krishna Prabhupada. Thank you, Prabhuji. Text number 2 and 3. Tattva Visrat Paryak Tribi Shringa Payonidham Disya Kamarocanaste Rupyasya Harina Maya Anyascha Kakabha Sarva Ratna Dhatu Vichirata Nana Durmalata Gulmer Nirgosir Nirjara Basam. Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada Jai. The length and breadth of the mountain are of the same measurement, 80,000 miles. Its three principal peaks, which are made of iron, silver, and gold, beautify all directions of the sky. The mountain also has other peaks, which are full of jewels and minerals, and are decorated with nice trees, creepers, and shrubs. The sound of the waterfalls on the mountain create a pleasing vibration. In this way, the mountains stand, increasing the beauty of all directions. Hare Krishna Prabhuji. So, as you wonderfully explained, so here Srila Prabhupada is again glorifying the mountain. It's 80,000 yojanas, both length and breadth, and the mountain has peaks of jewels uh, made of iron, silver, gold. We can only imagine, such kind. It's very difficult to imagine, from this material world. Only with love and devotion, we can kind of imagine the beauty of. So even just the mountain is such beautiful, then we can understand how much more beautiful the Supreme Lord is. Thank you, Prabhuji. Back to you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. So three means three, Kuta, three principal peaks. What were the three principal peaks? One made of iron, one made of silver, one made of gold. So that's the mountain, Trikuta mountain. Now, to a layman, he'll say, hey, all this is, fairy tale. This is, how can there be 80,000 miles high peak of gold? It may sound like a fairy tale. But 50 years back, if someone would have told that people would have, mobile phones in their hands, it would have seemed a fairy tale, right? If 50 years back someone would have told that people would have phones in their pocket, or people could talk like face to face, like see each other and talk to each other, would be someone sitting like 2,000 miles. The computers maybe 50 years back, I don't know when they started, but they were like size of a very big hall and had less processing capabilities than the smartphones these days. So the right way to attain knowledge is not through our direct sense perception. If I am not able to perceive that, that does not mean it's incorrect. My senses are limited. Senses are prone to illusion. Senses are prone to cheating. Senses are prone to shortcomings. I cannot see, like, can I read like something right in front, like 1 centimeter away from me? Can I see something 1 kilometer away? The eagles can see. So direct sense perception is not the way of attaining knowledge. Shabda Praman, we are just discussing in the sense of science of self-realization course as well. The right way of attaining knowledge is Shabda Praman, not Pratyaksha Praman, not direct sense perception. So we are hearing the authority, Vyasadeva, Shukdev Goswami, Bhagavatam is speaking that. So that is the way of attaining knowledge. If I can't perceive it, that does not mean it's false, right? How many of us see neutrons and protons and electrons in our science? How many of us see G is equal to 9.8? We just believe so many things. But when it comes to scriptures, people say, hey, why should I have faith in all this? We have faith in electrons and protons and neutrons. We have faith in so many things. When we board a flight, we have faith in the pilot. When we go to a restaurant, we have faith in the cook, or that they will not put poison. When we go to a barber, we have faith in their skills, that they will not slit our throat off while shaving. We put faith in everything. We go to a doctor, we put faith. We go to anywhere, we put faith. So we should not be unreasonably doubtful also. It's like you put faith, you try to follow the process, and then you see the result, and that's basically science. Right? There is a hypothesis, there is an experimentation, and then there's a conclusion, and that's science. So it's not faith, just blind faith. It is very scientific. So because the beauty of Trikuta mountain, the length and dimension may shock us. That's why I want to share that. Any comments or questions anyone has? Okay. Yes, Ekant Prabhu.
Dhanavad Pranam to everyone. Hare Krishna. Text 4. Sacha avanijaya mana angiriha samantar paya urmibihi karoti shamalam bhumim harin markatash ashamabihi. Translation by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, Prabhupada Ki Jai. The ground at the foot of mountain is always washed by the waves of milk that produce emeralds all around in 8 directions: north, south, east, west, in the directions midways between them. Purport. From Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, we understand that there are various oceans. Somewhere there is an ocean filled with milk, somewhere an ocean of liquor, and somewhere an ocean of ghee, and an ocean of oil, and an ocean of sweet water. Thus, there are different varieties of oceans within this universe. The modern scientists who have only limited experience cannot defy these statements. They cannot give us full information about any planet, even the planet on which we live. From this verse, however, we can understand that if the valleys of some mountains are washed with milk, this produced emeralds. No one has ability to imitate the activities of material nature as conducted by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Active Prabhuji, please explain. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji, for reading. So, what is the ocean surrounded? What is the mountain surrounded by? What is
Milk.
this? Yes, milk. So it's surrounded by milk. We have experience of salt water. The salt water waves come, and sometimes we see some shells on the ocean bed. So, in this place, the mountains are of gold and silver. And when the waves of milk come, what is formed? Emeralds are formed. So we cannot understand this through our limited sense perception, which we already discussed, because we have very limited experience. We can't even understand what's this little corona doing and how to fix it, right? The scientists all over the world are trying to figure it out, but we're still failing, and from many, many months. So we can try to understand like how limited is. So no one has the ability to imitate the activities of the material nature as conducted by the Supreme Personality of God. We cannot imitate it. The God is Mayadhyakshana Prakriti, the Supreme Lord Kṛṣṇa. Everything is running under his direction. So he can do anything. So the idea is we can just try to relish and try to understand the magnanimity of the Lord. We say that God is, all wealthy. So even the people of this is something in the material world. This is a place in the material world, and that place is so wealthy. We can imagine the wealth of God. Who this is like one infinite fraction of his creation. So how much wealthy our Kṛṣṇa is, we cannot estimate. Okay, any comments or additions anyone has?
Yes, Prabhu Dandat Pranam. Actually, in our history book, recent newspaper, not too far back, they said that the places in Pune are named Moti Chowk, Paure Chowk, etc. means square. And they are named so because there used to be big bazaars where people used to sell pearls, Paures, yellow gems, blue gems, sapphire gems, etc. Just 100 years ago, this used to happen. Right now we sell plastic beads, but then they used to do that much. So can you imagine that wealth, and can you just imagine that opulence? Even 100, 200 years ago it existed.
It's true. We are making a lot of advancement. Earlier, people used to eat in gold plates, then silver plates, then stainless steel plates, then ceramic plates, then plastic plates. Now they eat in foam plates or paper plates. We are
Prabhupada
advanced.
used to laugh plastic civilization. This is very hellish, very poor, very demoniac. He said the only real stuff that is left is fragrant flowers. So you must offer fragrant flowers to Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Okay, next verse. Yes, Umesh ji, Umesh Prabhu, you want to read?
From Kṛṣṇa Prabhu Dandat to everyone. Text number 5. Siddha Charana Gandharver Vidyadhara Maho Ragahai Kinnera Apsarabhischa Kridabhirjasta Kandaraha. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. The inhabitants of the higher planets, the Siddhas, Charanas, Gandharvas, Vidyadharas, Sarpants, Kinnaras, and Apsaras go to that mountain to sport. Thus all the caves of the mountain are full of these denizens of the heavenly planets. Purport. As ordinary man may play in the salty ocean, the inhabitants of the higher planetary system go to the ocean of milk. They float in the ocean of milk and also enjoy various sports within the caves of Trikuta mountain. So as you explained Prabhuji rightly that the way we go to the beach in salt ocean and do our activities, similarly Prabhupada is explaining here all these Gandharvas and Vidyadharas, the inhabitants of the higher planets, used to go to their activities in that mountain. Hare Krishna, back to you.
Thank you. Thank you, Prabhu. Quite straightforward. People like to go for vacation. So the denizens of upper planets, Gandharva, Charanas, all these are not in the Bhuloka, they are in the upper planets. The sun, Swarloka, Gandharva Loka, etc., Vidyadharas, upper planets, serpents, Kinnaras, Apsaras. So they also like to enjoy because material world, everyone wants to enjoy. And everyone wants to go to a nice place. So that's a nice picnic spot. Imagine, just imagine, mountains of gold, the ocean of milk, and when it comes, it's producing emeralds. So it's very scenic, very, very nice place for a picnic, right? So let's see what happens next. Yes, Shreya, Mataji?
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranams to all the devotees. Text 6. Yatra Sangita Sannadhair Nadat Guham Amarshaya Abhigharjanti Haraya Shlagina Parashankhaya. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Abhay Charna Ravinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Because of the resounding vibrations of the denizens of heaven singing in the caves, the lions there, being very proud of their strength, roar with unbearable envy, thinking that another lion is roaring in that way. Purport. In the higher planetary systems, there are not only different types of human beings, but also animals like lions and elephants. There are trees, and the land is made of emeralds. Such is the creation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur has sung in this regard, Keshava, Tuya Jagata Vichitra. My Lord Keshava, your creation is colorful and full of varieties. Geologists, botanists, and other so-called scientists speculate about other planetary systems, but being unable to estimate the varieties on other planets, they falsely imagine that all planets but this one are vacant, uninhabited, and full of dust. Although they cannot even estimate the varieties existing throughout the universe, they are very proud of their knowledge, and they are accepted as learned by persons of a similar caliber. As described in Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 3, verse 19, Swavid Varahostra Karair Samstuta Purusha Pashu. Materialistic leaders are praised by dogs, hogs, camels, and asses, and they themselves are also big animals. One should not be satisfied with the knowledge imparted by a big animal. Rather, one must take knowledge from a perfect person like Sukadev Goswami. Mahajano yena gatasa pantha Our duty is to follow the instructions of the Mahajanas. There are 12 Mahajanas, and Shukdev Goswami is one of them. Swayambhur Narada Shambhu Kumara Kapilo Manuhu Prahlado Janako Bhishmo Balir Vaya Sakhir Vayam. Bhagvatam, Canto 6, Chapter 3, 20th verse. Vaiyasakhi is Sukadev Goswami. Whatever he says, we consider to be factual. That is perfect knowledge. Hare Krishna. Thank you. Back to you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Mataji. So, again, very, very important point that modern so-called scientists say, hey, there is life only on Earth planet. Why? Because we live on Earth. And I remember in the childhood, they used to teach us, or in all those science textbooks, why Earth has life? Because there is water in liquid form, there is oxygen, it is equal, nicely distanced from sun, and there were like 4 or 5 reasons. But are there people in the sub-zero temperatures? Yes. Are there bacteria in the fire? Yes. So not everyone needs oxygen. Not everyone needs the temperature which human beings may need here. So as we know that as we go in the upper planets, the gross element goes down and the subtle elements goes up. Like out of the 8 elements, earth, water, fire, air, ether, Bhumi, Rapundala, Vayu, Khammana, Buddhi, Revja. Like Brahmaji's body, we discuss in the Brahma's prayers. It's practically made of intelligence. It's not the gross elements are very little. So we have to understand that the needs are different. The science cannot understand it, but we have to understand, as Prabhupada is saying, whatever Shukdev Goswami is saying is factual. That's perfect knowledge. This is all apurushaya. This is not written by any Tom, Dick, Harry. This is written by Lord Kṛṣṇa himself and by his empowered incarnations or devotees. Prabhupada also said, I am not writing these. Kṛṣṇa is dictating me this. These are not Prabhupada's actually. Prabhupada said Kṛṣṇa is telling. Therefore, Prabhupada was always so eager to read his own books. Why? Because Prabhupada said Kṛṣṇa is telling me and I'm just writing as an instrument. So, in this verse, basically the life of lions, tigers, elephants are mentioned in that Trikuta mountain. So basically there is life everywhere. The science may not be able to understand that because of the Pratyaksha Praman, but we have to have more faith in the Shabda Praman. Any other comments, questions, additions? Nandini Mataji, you want to say something? Yes, Umesh Prabhu. Those who have not read can raise their hands. So we can get a chance to read. Umesh Prabhu, you want to read? Okay, already got. Okay, Raghu Prabhu.
Yes, I can read. Hare Krishna devotees. Text 7. Nana Ranya Asu Vrata Sankula Droni Alankrata Chitra Sarod Dayana Kalakanta Vihan Kama. Translation by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Jai Srila Prabhupada. The valley beneath Trikuta mountain are beautifully decorated by many varieties of jungle animals, and in the trees, which are maintained in gardens by the demigods, varieties of birds chirp with sweet voices. Back to you, bro. Thank you.
So Very straightforward, the description of the varieties of animals. We read about the tigers and lions before. Now, other animals are also present here. So, birds, etc. All this is describing the scene of Trikuta mountain. And I feel it's a great way to absorb the reader in the pastime. And it's a great lesson for any teacher, any parent. If the Shukdev Goswami would have told, hey, there was a mountain and Gajendra came there, it would not have been so exciting. We would have doubted probably the authenticity also. But attention to detail is a great, sign. Attention to detail is a symptom of love. It's a symptom of expression. So when we are also sharing stories, so if I tell you a story that, hey, there was a king and he had a queen, or there was a person, he had a job and then he was doing good and then he lost his job and then he went back. It may not be so interesting. But if I tell you more details, that one of my very, very close friends, his name is Sham. He was working in Fort Myers, and then he was working in this company, Hertz, let's say. And he was very intelligent. He did his master's from University of Florida. When we add more details, it adds to authenticity. It's not cooking up something. Right? So the point is that this is history. This is not some cooked up stories. So this is a real story. This is not some mythology. And attention to detail adds to the beauty, adds to the variety, adds to the flavor. So when we also share stories, we can take some lessons from Shukdev Goswami, whether it is sharing stories to the kids or to any programs, etc. We must try to add relevant, authentic details. Okay, who would like to read? Who has not read text number 8?
I would like to read, Prabhuji.
Yes, please.
Dandavat pranam to all devotees. Text 8. Tarit sarovir achodeh puliner mani bhalukayah devastri majjana moda taurabhamva anilair utaha. Translation and purport by disciple of Srila Prabhupada. Trikuta mountain has many lakes and rivers with beaches covered by small gems resembling grains of sand. The water is as clear as crystal, and when the demigod damsels bathe in it, their bodies lend fragrance to the water and the breeze, thus enriching the atmosphere. Purport. Even in the material world, there are many grades of living entities. The human beings on earth generally cover themselves with external fragrances to stop their bad bodily odors. But here we find that because of the bodily fragrance of the demigod, damsels, the rivers, the lakes, the breeze, and the entire atmosphere of Trikuta mountain also become fragrant. Since the bodies of the damsels in the upper planetary systems are so beautiful, we can just imagine how beautifully formed are the bodies of the Vaikuntha damsels or the damsels in Vrindavana, the gopis. Back to you, Prabhuji.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So now, when the heavenly damsels, Gandharvas, Apsaras, they come, what happens? Generally, why do we take bath? To be free from the impurities. What will happen if we don't take bath for 10 days or 20 days? Will our body smell very nice? There will be fragrance all around? it will smell foul. People say keep distance, right? So the point is, we take bath to get free from the bad odor or the bad or disease and stuff like impurities. But the damsels of the upper planets are so beautiful, so much fragrant that the whole environment, the lake, the Trikuta mountain, the surroundings, their bodies lend fragrance to all these surroundings. Interesting. So now Prabhupada is a pure devotee. A pure devotee tries to see everything in a Krishna conscious way. So immediately Prabhupada is connecting this and linking it back to Vrindavan. That's the nature of a pure devotee. He does not see anything. Sthavara jangamana dekhi na dekhi tara murti. Sarvatra hoy ishta dev sfurti. See, there is nothing about, for an ordinary person, just reading the translation without the purport, how will one connect to Vrindavan? But a pure devotee knows the art of connecting everything back to Vrindavan, back to the topmost gopis. That how beautiful Krishna must be, how beautiful, because of the creation is so beautiful, how beautiful the creator must be. The people of the material world, upper planets are so beautiful, how beautiful there must be people on the spiritual world, Vaikuntha Loka, Goloka Vrindavan, the gopis of Vrindavan, the Vrindavan Vasis. So that's the nature of what we can learn from this verse, that how Prabhupada is connecting everything back to Krishna, even if it's talk about beauty, talk about damsels, talk about anything. And therefore, that's how Prabhupada is teaching us to be always Krishna conscious, always remember Vrindavan Dham, always remember the devotees, the topmost devotees. So I really like this point. Who all want to go to the Trikuta mountain? Anyone wants to go? Sudhir Prabhu wants to go. Anyone else wants to go? Baswati Mataji. We'll take some big bag. The emeralds all over. That's right. Like when you go to ordinary beach, you may find some shells and something. In India, people pick it, but here it's common, right? So that no one picks it up. Indeed. The point is, sorry?
Where is the Trikuta mountain? Where is it?
You want to plan your next vacation there? It's for that we need to really. Therefore, this is in upper planets. We can understand that it's in upper planets. It's not in the Bharatavarsha.
But still in the material world, right, Prabhuji?
Yes, absolutely.
So change my mind, Prabhuji, not mine.
Oh, you change your mind. But the point is, it's so tempting. That's why everyone, going to upper planets, Vedas have a lot of description about these. A lot of people want to go. A lot of people do fruitive activities, karma kanda, etc. Yenikin prakarin, let me go to upper planets. Let me enjoy there. Let me get to a place, wow, gold all around, mountain of gold, oh, emeralds everywhere. Oh, wow, it sounds like amazing, right? When I bathe, it's the ocean of milk, wow. And then these Gandharvas and Apsaras will also be coming, and it'll be all so fragrant. Isn't it amazing? But
so we should not hear Prabhu.
No, we should hear and see how Prabhupada, the mood of a pure devotee. If Baba, if material world is so beautiful, the so-called beauty, how much more beautiful Krishna and the gopis and Vrindavan Vasis and the atmosphere there must be. We cannot even fathom that. Material world is a tiny spark of a splendor, right? A pure devotee, a devotee should always try to see that thing. Everything is a spark of his splendor, Bhagavad Gita says. This beauty of Gandharvas, Apsaras, Trikuta mountain, there's just a spark of his splendor. And later we will see actually what happens to Gajendra. He was there. He had everything. He was enjoying there. We will see what happens. So that's the whole lesson, that even though we may be in Trikuta mountain, even maybe with the king of Gajendra, elephants, even though we may have a lot of things to enjoy, and everyone was frightened of, afraid of Gajendra. But ultimately, when the Kala will come, then neither Trikuta mountain will save, nor the emeralds and the milk ocean will save, nor the lions and tigers will save, nor the beauty and this fragrance of this thing will save. Only Hari Nama, Hari Nama, Hari Nama Eva Kevalam. So we have to take this lesson from this story, that yes, it's tempting, and the Maya will test us. Even in this world, tests will come. Even in this world, so many tests will come. Like Haridas Thakur was tested, we were discussing on the Durga Puja day. He was tested. It was a big allurement. Someone could be tested by money, someone by opposite sex, someone by some other things. It's very difficult to overcome. So I think I should share the story. It's a nice point to share the story again. King, one time, a king was very, very compassionate and a very great devotee of the Lord. He said to Kṛṣṇa, and he was so great that he used to talk to the Supreme Lord. He said, "My Lord, you're so merciful, you are so great. Why don't you, just take all my people in your shelter, take them all back home, back to Godhead." Okay. Lord said, "Okay, I will take them. Tomorrow, I will meet them at Trikuta mountain. Get everyone." King was said, "Really?" "Yes, tomorrow I'll meet them at Trikuta mountain." King was very excited. Wow, tomorrow everyone will get the darshan of the Lord. And all they have to do is cross over the Trikuta mountain and they will get the darshan of the Lord. So the Lord said, "I'll be just standing just next to Trikuta mountain." And then everyone was ready. "Hey, we'll go to the Lord. We'll go to Trikuta mountain and then we'll see the Lord." And there came the Trikuta mountain. There came the first peak, full of iron. The first kuta, full of iron, and there were a lot of precious jewels also around it. And there was nice waters, and some people said, "Hey, I've never been to a place like this. I'm happy here. I don't want to see the Lord." King said, "Baba, God is waiting for you. The Supreme Lord, the Master of everyone is waiting for you. Why you get stuck with the iron of this world?" He said, No. I have never seen more than 5 kilograms of iron, more than 5 pounds of iron. This is like a mountain of iron. I can make so many things out of it. I will take this home with me. This is so nice. This is 80,000 miles big. This is a lot for me. I don't have to work. I can retire now. I'll take this iron and sell this and my life is settled. Okay, well, few people believed in the king's words. Then they moved forward. And then came the second kuta, the silver peak. Wow, people said, "Glad that we heard the king. This is the real thing. This is what I've been waiting for. Silver peak, 80,000 miles. So nice. Ocean of milk. Such nice fragrance, such nice chirping of the birds. What could be better place to be in this world? This is everything. We are staying here." So whoever were left amongst the 50-60%, another like the majority 80% of the people, out of like thousands of people who came, a few thousands were left there. Then the remaining hundreds, they stood at the silver peak, and then only like 10 people were left now, who were really very sincere in the words of the king, and they were very faithful. So, "Okay, Baba, let's go forward." And then came the Trikuta, the third, the milk and the mountain of gold. And at this point, they were really tempted. Wow, this is unbelievable. This is all pure gold, not just gold plated. This is all full of gold. 80,000 miles. Come on. I mean, glad that we were not like the first kind of people. Glad that we didn't stay at the second thing, the old mountain of the silver. We are at the peak of gold. We're at the whole peak, 80,000 miles. King, we'll meet God, but in this life, I just want to enjoy here. There's nothing better in life than this. I don't have to work. There's all gold. There's all nice everything. There's valleys and birds and animals and nice weather and everything. Apsaras, and even king's wife didn't want to come forward. Somehow the king said, Baba wife, you please come. But when she saw those nice emeralds, she said, well, king, you never gave me these emeralds. I want to just be here. So she also got stuck with the emeralds. And then the king moves forward and meets the Supreme Lord. He said, the Lord asked, King, I told you to get everyone. I'll take everyone back home, back to Godhead. Where is everyone? You said you'll bring the whole kingdom. Then the king realized, he was a great devotee, that the Trikuta, again, this is my reflection, is basically the three bondages, these bonds of iron, silver, and gold. That how entangling they are. How entangling they are. We just feel that I just want to enjoy iron, silver, and gold in this world. I don't want Kṛṣṇa. I'm so happy in my material life. I have nice job, nice family, nice wealth, nice gold, nice everything, my bank balance, my home. I don't really want Kṛṣṇa. So, therefore, this Shastras are teaching. When we overcome the desire to have Trikuta, then we can go to Vrindavan. Any comments or additions, questions?
Prabhuji, I have a question.
Ji.
Suppose the Trikuta mountain, what you are saying, that is different from Ramayana, Trikuta mountain? Or is it same?
What we are reading now?
Yeah.
Ramayana. At what point this comes in Ramayana?
I think...
Prabhu, are you thinking of Chitrakoot? It's not...
okay, Chitrakoot maybe. But I heard somewhere in Ramayana, Trikuta mountain, in Sri Lanka, somewhere in now it's in Sri Lanka.
Lanka. This is certainly different because this is 80,000 miles. The diameter of Earth is how much? 8,000 miles.
Okay.
Even Hiranyakashipu also, that is Trikuta, Prabhuji?
I don't remember all the names of the... We have read this mountain. Yeah. Sorry, please.
So Ahobilam is a different or totally different thing. And it's also the Harivarsha, right? We read about that. Yes, Prabhu. And Ahobilam on the earth is non-different than Harivarsha Ahobilam. And that's another whole different pastime. It's like Vrindavan here is non-different than Goloka Vrindavan.
Yeah, Ahobilam is very close to where we live, Mataji. So we have been there. It's a beautiful place. So where Hiranyakashipu actually meditated, that is Trikuta, Prabhuji, or Mataji?
I think that is Mandara mountain, Prabhu.
Oh, that is Mandara, right? Okay, yeah.
Yeah, those people had the ability to go, and cross over. I may have to repeat the entire Canto 5 last section actually if you want to go in more detail. You have to repeat all that. But that itself is very complex understanding. And there's a whole book by by His Grace Praneshwar Prabhu, called Vedic Cosmology and Vedic. I'll try to get some pictures from there and see if we can briefly discuss that in the next time. Any other comments or additions?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, as we were discussing like a Trikuta mountain here, there is another connection related to the devotional service which is called Krupa Drushti, Divya Drushti, and this entire Srushti. So what I heard that when we get the Guru Krupa, we will get a divine vision to see the Lord, and with the help of that, at the end of our life, we will able to understand this entire universe, entire creation is a Srushti, which is a incarnation of Lord. So that Trikuta means is just like our Guru's mercy, divine drushti from Lord Krishna, and that way we can understand him. Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you. Thank you, Nitish. Anything else before we stop for today?
So, Haribol Dandavad. So, Kishkinda Kshetra is mentioned in Ramayana. Near the Chitrakoot is mentioned where Ram, Lakshman and Sita spend their time in Aranyavas, Kamadgiri Hill. This is near Nashik. And those are the mountains, and also then here Hanuman picks up the mountain peak and brings it for Lakshmana. Those are the only things. I don't think Chitrakuta mountain is mentioned in Ramayana. Back to you, Prabhu Dandavats.
Just checked in Wikipedia, Prabhu. In Ramayana, it is there. It is where Ravana's place is situated. Ravana's palace.
Yes, I think Manjalali also mentioned that.
Yeah.
And there could be, mountain peaks with same names also. Again, it's very complex to understand all these. But this one, the dimensions are in itself are 80,000 times, it's like a cube of 80,000, length, width, and height. So this is something extraordinary. The ocean, the bridge was 100 yojanas, 800 miles, just to give some relative perspective. Okay, we will pause here and continue tomorrow. Grantraj Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam ki jai, Śrīla ki jai, Samavita Gaura Bhaktivinoda ki jai. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Hare Krishna.
Krishna.